Okay, in this video, I'm going to go through some more on the Playfair program, the Playfair Cipher. So this is a big program. We've had several days, and we can take some more time if we need it to get through it. But I think part of the problem is, and this is something that I've talked about before, is that we're not taking the time to break it down into parts. That's what I keep saying, bring out some paper and kind of see exactly what you need to do first. Okay, so I have another video out there on creating the key square matrix, okay, which is a two-dimensional list or a list of lists. So you can take a look at that, modify that, make sure you understand it if you're going to use it. I don't mind you using the code, make sure you understand it, okay? Same thing here. So this is the part where the user will enter some plain text, okay? And then you have to break it down so there are no spaces. You could always just pass through the spaces, but I think we just want to deal with no spaces. We want to make sure it's a consistent case, upper or lower, it doesn't matter. Whatever you've done on your key square you should do here, okay? We have to worry about double letters being an issue, and we have to make sure that it's an even number, okay? So if there are double letters, we're going to put a Z replacing the second of the two letters in the plain text. And hopefully we can still read it on the other end. And in the same way, if there, no, sorry, there's a Z if the strings doesn't have enough characters. We put an X for double letters. If that's reversed from what the book says or what the web page says, it doesn't matter as long as we're doing it consistently within our own program. Okay. So I'm going to deal with all those issues kind of one by one. One issue that I'm not going to deal with, again, I haven't done the whole program yet. I was doing bits and pieces like you are. Okay. I don't think that there's any need to convert it into pairs. Okay, I think that we're going to be able to get the plain text that we want to convert in a string. Okay, and we're going to, or sorry, a list of characters, a list of strings, and we're going to be able just to take them two at a time through our for loop. Okay, we can use the range function to generate our numbers, and the range allows you to step by two. So there are three values to range: beginning, end, and step. Okay, so we can, if we step by two, we can deal with I and I plus one, and then go two forward and then do I and I plus one again. So that's my plan at the moment. Okay, so I'm not having the user to input. I think it's a good idea to not when you're first testing your program. Now I know exactly what the outcome should be, so I can keep twiddling it until I get it done. I will tell you that this is the third version of this video I've started because I found errors in my code. I should have left them in there, I don't know, but I didn't. We'll talk about what the issues were. Okay. So the first one's pretty straightforward. Now note, if I just say pstring.lower, it doesn't change anything. Okay, I could print it, but it's not changing the string. So because again, strings are immutable, we can't change it. We can create a new one. We're creating a new version of pstring, which is pstring.lower. Okay. Then one of my failed attempts, I tried to use the strip command. Strip command gets rid of white space, okay, which I want to get rid of a white space. The problem is the strip command only deals with white space at the beginning and the end. There's a left and a right, only beginning and the end. Okay, if you want to deal with a space or a white space inside your string, you have to do a replace. The good news, that'll get rid of any spaces no matter where they are. Okay, so again, I have to create a new string, pstring. I can use the same name, it's fine. Pstring.replace, I'm replacing a white space character, so that's double quote space, double quote with comma, double quote, no space. Okay, then I'm just printing this out just to see the progress. This is a line that would eventually go away. Okay. I'm then turning my string into a list so I can deal with it more easily, and I can make those mutations. Okay, so a list is mutable, so I can change each individual element, which we need to do. Okay, so now I've got my p list is equal to list. List is a function, p string. I'm now printing out the p list. Okay, if you look at this, here is my string. The spaces are gone. Notice I put an extra E on the end to give me a second test of my double letter, and also to make sure that I have 11 characters, so it forces it to put the Z at the end. Okay, so here is that turned into a string. Okay, before I make any other changes. So far that looks good. Okay, then I've got to figure out if I want to put the Z at the end or not. Okay, I need to do that if it's not even. Okay, and some of you were having all kinds of code to get this, and this to me is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to take a look at. Okay, and again, I think you're having trouble if you didn't convert it to a list. So if the length of plist mod 2 does not equal 0. Okay, that means it's odd. Then I'm going to take plist.append a z to the end. That's it. I have another element now with z. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and print that out as well. And you see that this is the list. Okay, I probably should have more of a note about what's what, but that's my third print statement, so that should be okay. That's what we want, right? That's the plain text that's 12 characters long. You can do a length on it just to make sure, but trust me, it's 12. Okay. Then the last thing we have to deal with is the double letters. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm going for I in range. Note that I'm starting my range at 1. Okay, so visually down here, what I'm doing, I'm going to compare 1 with 0. Okay, and if they're the same, I'm going to change 1. Okay, then I'm going to compare the 2 with 1, 3 with 2, and so forth. And I can go ahead and go up. I should be on this one then. I can go up and go to this letter because I want to check this one. Okay. So if they're the same, like they are here, it won't catch it going forward. And you could go forward if you want, but I think the numbers are a little more difficult, but it should still work. But I'm looking, when I'm here, I'm going to say, is this one, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. So is plist 3 equal to plist 2? It is. So I'm going to change plist 3 to an X. Okay, and you see that happens down here. Okay. The same thing here when I've added this extra E. The second E will also change to an X. Okay. So that should be good. Should deal with the double letter situation. Okay. So if I do that, it runs, you get to that. Okay. There is a question in my mind that comes up. It's funny when you're doing these things happen. I don't know. I'd have to read the cipher again. I don't know if the double letters have to be in a pair for them to need to be changed. I'm changing all double letters whether you need to or not. Okay, so in this case, the LL needs to change to LX, but I don't know that the XE needs to change. So we'll have to do a little further research, but this won't hurt in any case. Okay, so I think we're going to do another video on how to find out the row and column that any given value is in, or any two pairs of values are. So look for that sometime later this weekend, hopefully. If you have questions, make sure you let me know. Actually stop the video and not create breakout rooms.